What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Friday, people. Big weekend ahead for Arsenal. Massive game on Sunday as we play Liverpool. And we'll really get an idea of where we're at, people, in this title race, whether we can go to Anfield, finally overcome that difficult record that we've got there. Hopefully we can. And international break straight after, which, to be honest, don't really want that, man. You know, I would have liked us to add a bit of flow with the games. I suppose the only good thing is that we get a little time to get Saka and the injuries back, Odegaard and Havertz as well. So, but listen, big up to everyone. Hope you're well on this Friday. We know what's going on in the Champions League now. We know we've got in the Carabao Cup. We know what's ahead of us. We're going to get into press conference reaction and all of that good stuff, people. But big up to each and everyone locked in. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Natty said our squad this season is ridiculous. Even the second team looks dangerous. We pray for times like this. Yeah, listen, I'm positive about what we've got going on. I think it's one of the best windows we've had at the Emirates. That's for sure. My thing is just purely now that we've got to win. We've got to put it together. You got all the tools, you got all the ingredients. You got to get the job done now, and that's where I'm at with Arteta. You know, you've got squad depth. Also, you know, we have got good squad depth, but we want the main players to be available, and I don't want to see Saka getting injured for a month and you've got to play Madueke for a number of big games. Even though Madueke is a decent backup player, we still want a situation where our best players are playing the majority of the big games. Ultimately, we're going to Liverpool without our best attacking player in Saka at the moment. So, Xavi Simons to Spurs, how are we feeling? If we hadn't signed Eze, I would be very, very annoyed about that deal. I'm going to be totally honest because I like Xavi Simons. There's a lot of good number 10s who've moved in this window, but luckily we got one of the best ones who's moved, in my opinion. You look at Florian Wirtz, you look at Eze, you look at Xavi Simons, Gibbs White nearly left, but I'm very happy with Eze. But Xavi Simons a good signing for them. Big up to Duncan, finally catching you live. Big up, bro. Arsenal Future said, Brother Curtis, my nickname for you is CC Rasta. I don't need a CC unit to... Yo, big up, bro, big up. Can we go 1 week without an injury? Well, that's what we need. That's what we need. It's not showing up on Twitch. Nah. What's going on there, people? Why is it not showing up on Twitch? It should not be doing that. They've done Twitch dirty. You've lost me views there. I don't know why that's happened, by the way. I've got no idea. Let me try and add it. Can I add it during the stream? There we go. I should have just joined Twitch, hopefully. Let me know. Twitch gang, let me know if we're involved. I don't know why that happened. Listen. Don said, Curtis, why am I jealous Spursy got Xavi Simons? He's a good player. I rate him, and he's young as well. He's only like 22. But we got Eze, man. We're good, bro. We're good. I'm very happy with Eze. Do C-Unit chants. Long time didn't hear it. Here is your like, sir. Big up to Angel. Appreciate that, man. Listen, we are... Well, do you know what? Let's start with a couple of other things before we get into some of the transfer stuff. In fact, Xavi, they reckon £55 million, I think, 70 million euros. Anyway, we know we've got in the Champions League now, people. Tomorrow we find out what order we are playing these teams. So I actually think that's very important because, you know, we've got games. I think we play a Champions League game between Forest at home and Manchester City at home. So ideally, on the back of an international break, Forest, who are quite a tricky team, then Man City, you don't really want Inter Milan away midweek. You'd much rather have, I don't know, Kairat at home. So the order of those fixtures will be very intriguing and very interesting. So they come out tomorrow. So maybe we'll do a streamer or a pre-recorded video at some stage tomorrow, and we'll discuss that order. I'm reasonably happy with that draw. We didn't get the glamour ties that I would have liked. I wanted us to play Barcelona. I would have even liked PSG for a bit of revenge. However, someone made a great point yesterday. Even if we beat PSG in the group stage, it's not really revenge. We beat them in the group stage last year, and they still beat us in the semi-final. So, Bayern Munich, Inter, Atletico Madrid, Club Brugge, Olympiacos, Slavia Prague, Kairat, and Athletic Club. Not the most glamorous. Bayern Munich will be decent at home. Inter away, I mean, they're quite stubborn and defensive. It's not really a team that I like us playing against, but it's something we have to figure out. Atleti will be tough as well, very good defensively with some good players. Obviously, Andrea Berta's former club, Bayern Munich, will be Eze and Elise link up. I'll be honest, we should be getting out of the group in the top 8. I think all 5 of those bottom teams, I expect Arsenal to win all 5 of those games. I'm going to be honest. Bruges, Olympiacos, Slavia Prague, Kairat, and Athletic Club. I expect 5 wins. I know Bilbao at home are not bad, but Man United rolled them over quite easily last year. Atleti, Inter, Bayern, with 2 of them being at home, I would expect 1 or 2 wins out of that at least. So I expect Arsenal to get through, to be honest, in the top 8. I don't expect to see a playoffs. Listen, you never know. Inter Milan away, you go there, you don't play properly, you can get beat. Bayern Munich with their attacking talent, they can beat you if you don't play well. Atleti won't be easy either. So there's tough games there, but I expect Arsenal to get through in the top 8. If we don't, I'm very disappointed. So overall, I think we're quite happy with the draw compared to some of the other ones. And just looking ahead as well, the England squad has been announced for the upcoming games. A number of Arsenal players in the squad, a number of big players left out of the squad, some through injury, some through selection. No Jack Grealish, no Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're saying no Kyle Walker. I'm not sure about Foden. Is he injured? But Foden's not in the squad as well. Just in terms of Arsenal, Eze is in the squad, Madueke. Those 2 are in there. Declan Rice is in there, of course. And then Miles Lewis-Skelly. So 4 England players for Arsenal in the squad. Ben White isn't in there, obviously, not playing, and he's injured. And Waneri and Max Dowman may be players of the future. Very interesting that Ramsdale... I've got no idea why Ramsdale went to Newcastle on loan if he wasn't going to be first choice. They've signed Ramsdale to be backup to Nick Pope, and he's just sitting on the bench at Newcastle. What a weird move that was for Ramsdale. Now he's been dropped out of the England squad. Makes no sense. Trent must be fuming at the moment. I got to be honest. He's left Liverpool, gone to Real Madrid. He was dropped for the last game for Real Madrid. Carvajal back in the team. I think wing back just doesn't suit Trent, and now you're out of the England squad. Livramento, Reece James, and Jed Spence, the 3 England right backs. I actually think Jed Spence has been brilliant for Tottenham, although he's played at left back. And Livramento is good as well. Reece James, I think Tuchel loves him from when he played at Chelsea and he was his manager. In the midfield, Elliot Anderson gets his debut. I've got friends who work at Forest, and he has done really well for them. So I think he deserves that. Adam Wharton, who I think in a year is going to end up at one of the big clubs in England, I think he's very good. Don't know what Jordan Henderson's doing in the England squad. I got to be honest, I don't really understand that. Must be a great leader off the pitch or something. And then the front line, Bowen, Eze, Gordon, Kane, Madueke, Rashford and Watkins. Obviously no Saka, no Cole Palmer, no Foden. They're missing a number of players, but let's be honest. These qualifying games are pretty boring anyway, but we may do one of them watch-alongs during the international break. But good to see Eze in there. Nice to see the England Arsenal players called up together. Henderson just there for vibes. He must be. He must be. I think he's one of them guys who's like a manager on the pitch. Ilmi said, Curtis, quick question, my bro. Should I get my daughter? Who should I get my daughter to support? She's 8 months old. I don't want her to experience pain I have experienced as an Arsenal fan. Much love from Australia, broski. I mean, my 2 sons are Arsenal fans, and you think to yourself, it's like the natural thing in it that your children are going to support who you support. You can share that joy, hopefully, of watching your team together. But then you know, when your team aren't winning and you're going through tough times, you're like, should I have just made them support somebody else? But do you know what I say? Making your child an Arsenal fan is going to get them prepared for life. It's going to teach them that life isn't always easy, right? They're going to understand life can be very difficult at times, can be very good at times. Sometimes you have Andre Santos at left back. Sometimes you have Ashley Cole at left back. Sometimes you've got Shamak up front. Sometimes you've got Thierry Henry up front. And you will learn about life the hard way and you will enjoy life. And there's ups and downs in life. So I don't know. I think make her an Arsenal fan. She will learn about life very quickly. Berta has changed the youth's life. I hope so. Berta at the moment, I'm not going to lie, you know, about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, I was starting to say, yo, is Berta on fraud watch? But right now I'm sitting there going, yo, Berta, there's a story out online today saying that PSG and Manchester United wanted Berta and PSG offered him huge wages, but he wanted to come to the Premier League. So I think we're very, very lucky to have Andrea Berta at Arsenal. And I'll be honest, when we signed him, and a lot of us were saying it in the chat, I think this could be one of the biggest signings that we have made in years at this football club. Because I genuinely think having a top quality sporting director, it changes the direction of your football club. You know, we've had Gazidis, we've had Raul Sanelli. I mean, Sanelli had a good reputation, but, you know, allegedly there was brown envelopes flying all over the place. And then Edu. I mean, we suffered a lot under Edu, so I'm very thankful, man, that Berta's come through the door for us, and I think he's top quality. D General said, I can't lie, Voltamard is a techie baller. Berta defo needs to keep an eye on him when Havertz gets quick sold. Remember the name, Walter Messi. Well, he signed a long contract at Newcastle. I think a lot of things are going to fall into place for Liverpool by the end of that deadline day. I think this Voltamard deal will indicate that Isak's going to end up at Liverpool. And then Crystal Palace have just agreed a deal for a centre-back from France, which would indicate Mark Guéhi is going to end up there. I mean, Guéhi and Isak at the end of the window is crazy work for Liverpool, man. That Voltamard, I mean, I just haven't seen enough of him. He's 6'6". He looks all right. He looks quite inexperienced for a player of that cost, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about him. Newcastle tried to sign a lot of strikers, so let's be honest, he's probably 6'7". 6'7". That wasn't even intentional. He's probably like 6th or 7th on the list of strikers that they actually wanted. So, Jamal TV, big up C. Do you still talk to Antonio from Uptown? I want to put in the juice. Yo, I'm telling you, man, it gets techie like that sometimes, man. I swear down. Antonio from Uptown is my escape route when things get difficult at Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? We have to go for Antonio from Uptown, man. Jamal TV, Saeed, man, he's escaping the matrix, man. When you're losing to Grimsby, you got to get out of there. He's now calling himself Jamal, you know. But big up to you, Jamal TV. You just reminded me. Is that the picture of Saeed as well? I think it is. Nero said Eze or Simmons. I take Eze, bro. And I'm not just saying that because Eze, I just don't think will need time to adapt. Xavi Simmons seems quite a emotional player from what I've seen. Some days he looks like he throws his toys out of the pram. But I'm not just saying that. I rate Xavi Simmons, and for a while I've said I'll take him. Arsenal should sign Barcola and Wharton in the future. I like Wharton. Barcola, I'm not sure. He's very exciting. I'm not totally convinced about his end product for the amount of money that he would cost. I saw reports they want 100 million for him. I just don't think he's a 100 million player. And Lawrence said, I can't lie, we need a whole segment about Isak. Yeah, do you know what? I'm actually going to do some shows over the weekend. We're doing 3 shows on deadline day on Monday. So that will be about the whole transfer deadline. Because like I said yesterday, once Isak gets here, we go to Liverpool. I'm telling you, even though we know that's happening, that is going to send shockwaves through football. Honestly, that move is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's a huge signing They're going to break the Premier League record getting him. And he's an incredible player. I'll be honest. I always thought Isak would end up at Arsenal. I honestly did. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Ilmi said, I will never forget travelling 22 hours from Australia to watch Arsenal v Spurs 2023, only to watch Jorginho give the ball away and draw 2-2. I remember that game, bro. That was absolutely crazy. Xavi Simons is overrated. He will struggle with the intensity of the Prem. I'm not sure. I think he'll maybe do all right. I think he'll do all right. How is Eze pronounced? I've heard 3 different variations. Well, the thing is, I call him Eze, but when he said it, he said Eze. I was like, what? I don't care how he says it. I'm calling him Eze. Do you know what I mean? I'm calling him Eze, bro. I don't care how he pronounces it. I'm too involved with calling it Eze. He calls it Eze, I think. Eberiche Eze. I said, nah, I can't work with that, bro. I'm already locked in with calling you Eze, bro. Eze sounds mad to me. Big up Matt, he says, big up the chat and Big C. Big showdown this weekend. Let's be brave and get these 3 points. But are moving like Frank Lucas. We got that blue magic, baby. We got that blue magic. You know what I mean? We're out here. Big up yourself, bro. I don't know about anybody else, and I've said it multiple times, man. We got to go and get 3 points. I've seen a lot of people online saying I'll take a draw at Liverpool. Under normal circumstances, I would, but I don't think these are normal circumstances this season. I think everything is amplified this season. I was reading yesterday, we've spent over 250 million. This is our biggest window ever in the history of the football club. And I say it all the time. If you want to beat these clubs, you've got to beat them in their own backyard sometimes. You've got to go to their play. Every time we watch Liverpool play, Super Sunday, Newcastle, they're playing Man City, they're playing Man United, they're playing Tottenham. We're going to sit there as ops and go, yo, I hope Newcastle can beat Liverpool today. I hope this club can beat Liverpool today. Well, ultimately, we need to beat them. We need to beat them if we want to. Now, people say you don't have to go to Anfield and win to win the title. You don't, but sometimes you do. You know, Wenger got over that hurdle at times, going to Man United, Old Trafford, and beating them in their own backyard. I think when you beat a rival in their own stadium, I think that's a different ball game. It's like it sends shockwaves through people. Beating them in your own ground, yeah, they go away from home, you do them. But going to their place and beating them at Anfield, I think it would make people say, yo, this Arsenal team is serious. Do you know what I mean? We need 3 points on Sunday, man. Perunelli, fact statement win at Anfield. I'm telling you, we've been close the last few years. We need to do them now. We need to go there and beat them. As good as Liverpool are, and I think they are good, very good, they've looked shaky at the back in those first 2 games. They've conceded 4 goals in the last 2 games. Also 2 in the Community Shield as well. 6 goals in 3 games. Bournemouth, Palace and Newcastle. Newcastle with 10 men and no striker. We need to be going to Anfield and scoring goals. I'm telling you, those fullbacks can be got at, and Canate's look shaky. So, big up the community. Big up DJ Wisman, penalty spot. Never forget 89, exactly. Michael Thomas settings. Big up Buenos Aires, Guna. Blessings, Curtis, and all the C unit. Thank God it's Friday. Bring on them Scousers. Let's go and get them, man. As Kev used to say, man, you got to brook the neck settings, man. Rest in peace to Kev as always, man. We got to brook the neck at Anfield, people. No messing around. Right, let's talk transfers. Couple of transfers on their way. We've got a here we go on the player leaving. We don't yet have the here we go on the player joining, but it's very, very close, people. Kiwior is done and dusted at Arsenal Football Club. Jakub Kiwior to FC Porto. Here we go. Deal agreed with Arsenal. Loan with an obligation to buy. 2 million loan fee. 17 million obligation to buy plus add-ons and a sell-on clause. A potential fee between 25 and 27 million euros. Kiwior is scheduled to fly in the next 24 hours as soon as documents are approved. Lawrence, I agree with you. I think Porto have got a good deal. I think Kiwior can go and play consistently and be a very good signing for them in a market where everybody seems desperate to get a left-footed centre-back in his mid-20s, Polish international, lot of room for development. I think that's a good signing for them. I really do. I think that's a good signing for them, and I think it's a good move for him. Nice part of the world to live. European football. I think that's a good signing. For me personally, and I said it yesterday, I think we're 8 to 10 million pound short of where we should be in this deal. At least there's a sell-on clause there, which if he goes to Porto and becomes a top quality centre back and ends up at Bayern Munich or, in 2 years' time at 50 million, you would expect us to get 10-15% of that. So you would hope he does really well and goes beyond that. But it's a similar amount to what we paid for him. And I think the way he's done at the club, we should have got more. But I think the other way of looking at it as well, though, outside of that run at the end of the season, he hasn't played that much and done that well. Now, that's not his fault. He was playing at left back at one stage. But he probably hasn't played enough to get the bigger fee. But I do think other clubs would have got more money for him. If he was at Chelsea, I think they'd have got 35 million for him. Also a bit disappointing. It's a loan with an obligation. You would have wanted the money now. But it is what it is. Good luck to Kiwior. It'll be about 25 to 27 million euros, which is like 22 million pounds. He's on around 60 grand a week. Yeah, Lawrence, look, I think if Gabriel wasn't so good, then Kiwior would have probably done really well at Arsenal with more game time. But he just, Gabriel's a colossus for us, isn't he? So good luck to him. And obviously the replacement is lined up. And we're going to talk about the replacement shortly. Perunelli said, Szoboszlai versus Eze, Curtis Jones versus Madueke. Well, who are they going to play? Who are we going to play? Who are they going to play at right back? We know Frimpong's out. They played Szoboszlai there. He did well against Harvey Barnes. But will they go for Connor Bradley or Gomez, who were both on the bench? And I think Bradley came on. I don't think Gomez did come on against Newcastle. Will we play Eze on the left wing, or will it be Martinelli? We'll have to see with that one. Mohammed said, we had too many draws at Anfield. It's time we collect 3 points and keep it moving. Honestly, right, Liverpool are a fantastic team. Don't want to take anything away from Liverpool. Don't want any Liverpool fan to get mad at me with the next comment that I'm about to make. I think we've seen better Liverpool teams than this over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Now, don't get me wrong. You put Guehi and Isak in this team, maybe we're having a different discussion. But I think we all know the Mane, Salah, Firmino, Fabinho, Wijnaldum. That team was like... That team would rip you to bits before you even got going at Anfield. This team can be got at. This team can... No, don't get me wrong. They can get at us. Ekitike looks a baller. Salah's Salah. You know what I mean? Wirtz, they paid 100 million. They got ballers in that team. If we're not at it, we'll get cooked. But we need to go there and cause them problems. I'm looking at Kirkez thinking, Kirkez didn't even jump for Bruno Guimaraes' header the other day. He looks a bit rash, dives in. I think Madueke will cause him problems actually on that right-hand side for us. I'm looking at the left. Frimpong's out. Bradley, who's not fully fit, or Szoboszlai, who's a centre midfielder. If Eze's on the left, I'm looking at him to drift and cause them all kinds of problems. So, listen, we got to go there with the belief that we can beat them. We got to have that belief. We really have. I don't want us to go there and just sit back and defend. I want us to try and hurt them in transition. I can't wait for the game. I cannot wait. I'm disappointed there's an international break, to be honest. I just want us to play at the moment and keep going. Now, obviously, Kiwior is at Here We Go. He's on his way to Porto. We're now waiting on the Here We Go for the replacement. I mean, I'm hoping we even maybe get it during the show. So I'll keep refreshing on social media or community. Make sure you let me know in the comments if we get the bomber. We're on the verge of signing Piero Hincapie. That's what I've been told. It's Hincapie. Not Hincapie. It's Hincapie. Let me know if I'm wrong, but that's what somebody sent me a message saying it's Hincapie. That's why he has the little dash above the E at the end. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Fabrizio said, I understand Arsenal are now closing in on Piero Hincapie. Deal with Bayer Leverkusen. Here we go soon. Agreement almost done as Bayern have accepted a loan with obligation to buy for Hincapie as the formula wanted by Arsenal. Details on the fee and structure being sorted. Here we go is coming next. So we have got a replacement for Kiwior straight away. As I said, you guys know more about him than me. Those of you that watch Bundesliga, that is. As I said, I think I've watched him about 4 times. And even in those games, I'll be honest, I was not focusing on him. I was looking at the more attacking players. I think he will... Is he going to come in and just be backup left centre-back? It's an interesting one. Every summer we seem to sign a left-sided centre-back who can play at left-back. And I think that's a lot of money for somebody that... Is he just coming in to be backup to Gabriel? Does he end up starting left-back for Arsenal? Because a lot of the games he's played recently at left-back and he looks quick. It's so interesting. I don't know. Where do you guys think he's going to play? It seems like a lot of money for a backup centre-back. And then if he plays left back, what happens to Calafiori, who costs 40 million? Is he then the backup to Gabriel? I don't know. I honestly don't know. What do you guys think? South London Fight, I like it. He will play left back. He looks quick from what I saw. He looks more of a conventional left back. And I think with Eze potentially playing on that left, we're going to need an overlapping fullback to allow Eze to drift into those areas where we know he's at his best. What we really do not want is Eze hugging the touchline. If Eze's hugging the touchline for Arsenal, you've signed the wrong player. And all those emotional videos are for no reason. You might as well have gone and got Leao or gone and got Rodrigo or Lookman if that's how you're going to operate Eze. We do not want Eze hugging the touchline. We need that overlapping left back so that Eze drifts into the left 10, and that's where he does his damage. So I think he's going to play left back for us. I think he'll rotate, and it wouldn't surprise me if actually Lewis Skelly becomes a full-time midfielder at Arsenal, and then Hincapie and Calafiori are our 2 left backs. That would be... people are saying it's Hincapie, silent H. I like it. Listen, this is what I like about the community. They're guiding me. You know, we just turn up English like, yeah, Piero Hincapie. You know what I mean? People are like, yo, it's Piero Hincapie. Hincapie. Yeah, I hear you. I'm listening, people. I'm listening. I think he ends up at left back. And then our boy Eze is drifting into that left 10 position. Football Capo, yo, big up, bro, man. How you been? He said, hard-nosed tackler with 3 lungs. Kid has an engine, reminds me of an old school in-your-face defender. You say the H as an E. Hincapie. Yeah, you're doing too much, but I hear you. No, I hear you. I'll try and get that. But then Eze was saying his name's Eze, and I said, brother, I can't work with that. I don't care how you pronounce it. I'm calling you Eze. You know what I mean? It's like in Coming to America. It's like, is Mama named him Clay? I'm a naming Clay. You know what I mean? When he's in the barber shop, he's like, I'm not calling him Muhammad Ali. Is Mama named him Clay? I'ma call him Clay. I'm calling him Hincapie, but I'll work with the silent H. Give me time. I'll adapt. Listen, I'm going off what a lot of people are saying. I haven't seen enough of him to say, wow, what a signing. I'm not going to do that. You know, there's a lot of guys online. Everybody we sign, they're experts on them. Listen, Bundesliga is a big league, so there will be people out there that have seen a lot of him and how good he is. Just going to call him Big H, you know what I mean? Big up, Robert. Big C, check the emails. Might be able to help with some merch. Yes, Robert, I will check that. Do you know what I realised? One thing, and I'll let people know this. I'm almost a contradiction in that I'm on YouTube, which means I need to be very active on social media. But I'm very... I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as anti-social, but I'm not one of these people who's on social media a lot, because you can get caught up on it and sit there for hours just scrolling. So you put out a video, you get 100 comments on it. And I really like to look at the video comments, right? Concentrate on YouTube. And then you go on Instagram and you've got 50 requests for messages. And then you go on Twitter and there's 30 requests. And then you check your email and there's 40 emails. And I'm one of these people, I feel bad. When people take their time out to message me, I really like to try and respond. But with everything that's going on, sometimes I just read things and don't respond. So people, if you ever email me, don't think I'm being rude. I'm genuinely, like, I've still got a Hotmail. Yeah, I still haven't got a dishwasher. I'm still in that zone of like, yo, I'm trying to be active in real life rather than social media. So sometimes it may come across as I'm being ignorant if I haven't responded. But I just, often when I finish the stream, my phone, I just leave it for hours. Do you know what I mean? So just bear with me. Don't ever think, yo, I've emailed him, he's just blanking me. Yeah, I'm on Hotmail, bro. I ain't even got a Gmail. Real talk. I told you I'm old school. Gmail, I ain't got one. Dishwasher, haven't got one. The pots are still soaking in the dish. So just bear with me. I'm from that LimeWire, BlackBerry Messenger generation, people. I'm still adapting. You know what I mean? So bear with me. Yeah, right, let's move on. This is our replacement centre-back. Yo, what I will say is this brother, Berto, I love the work that he's doing. Because he's probably looked at this deal, by the way. You got to remember, we're going to pay about £45 million for this guy. Yeah, I might need a secretary. I can't lie. I get a PA, personal assistant. LimeWire, you know, man. If you're from the old school, you work with me. He's getting him on loan with obligation. When's the last time we got a top quality player on loan with an obligation to buy? He's obviously gone to Leverkusen and said, look, we've spent a lot of money, bro. We're 260 million deep. We can't be dropping 50, 45 million on this guy. I need loan with obligation. It's crazy that he's managed to get a player out of Leverkusen on loan with an obligation when they've lost Frimpong and they've lost Florian Wirtz. They've made well over 100 million in this window, so they don't need him to leave. So it just shows that Berta's negotiation is unbelievable. Honestly, like I said, 6 weeks ago, I was putting him on Fraud Watch. This guy, Berta, I think is going to be a game changer for this football club. Absolute game changer. Yeah, and they've lost Xhaka. But what I'm saying is Leverkusen have made loads of money. There's that, Jonathan Tah went on a free, didn't he? You would have thought they would be sitting there going, we can't afford to lose no one else, and we don't need the money because we've made 150 million this summer. So the fact he's pulled out one of their best defenders on loan with an obligation, that brother's a real hustler, man. I can't lie. I want the finer things in my life, so I hustle. That's how Berta's moving. I'm telling you, he's moving like 50 in the movie. It's crazy. So looking forward to this deal. I can't lie. Am I being greedy by saying one more? One more, people. Am I being greedy by saying I'm doing 3 shows on Monday, transfer deadline day, in the little bit of hope that we sign one more player? I just want one more attacking player. Am I being unreasonable here, people? I just feel like there's one. People saying belly full. Belly now full, exactly. Yeah, man, I need one more. You know, like when you've been in the restaurant, you've had the nice starter and the main, but you're looking, you're like, yo, man, do I get the chocolate cake and ice cream just to finish off the restaurant experience? I know I shouldn't, but, I'll go gym tomorrow and do an extra 10 minutes on the treadmill. I feel like, can you not bring one more player in just to give us a bit more excitement? Listen, Liverpool about to drop Isak and Mark Gahey, man. We're not being greedy, I'm telling you. They're going to sign, outside of Haaland, probably, the best striker in the Premier League until we see what Gyökeres is about. Nah, man, I need one more signing, people. I'm sorry, I'm being realistic. I want one more player, man. Drop Leao on deadline day and we go crazy. Kobe Mainu, well, he wants out, but apparently they're not willing to let him go. HR said need a midfielder, need proper cover for Rice. Yeah, I'm not convinced by our backup in midfield either. Norgard, I think, is an okay player. I don't think he's all that. And Marino in midfield is nothing more than okay. If we lost Declan Rice now for a long period of time, we'd be in big, big trouble. Unless you dropped Eze back into that 8 role, but then you're asking for defensive work. And I would have liked a Douglas Luiz or a Paulinho kind of deal instead of Norgard. But I'd take Kobe Mainu, on a cheap deal. But it ain't going to happen. Yeah, sweet tooth, I'll be honest, mate. Everyone's got a weakness. You go to a restaurant, like, I'm not that bothered about the starters and stuff like that. I like the dessert at the end, you know what I'm saying? But not too often, but Big up Elliot, he said, hey, Kurt, it's got to give the Kroenkes some credit. They finally opened the wallet. Listen, I always say in life, man, everything requires balance. If you can be critical of somebody, you got to be able to praise them when they do good, which is one thing I always say on this channel, with me, I can criticize and praise Mikel Arteta in equal form if he deserves it. I'm one of the biggest critics online that you will find of this ownership. But bringing in Berta, spending over 250 million in this window, yeah, you're gonna get credit for that. However, let's be honest, there's still question marks. It's still, why did you only spend 100 million last summer on 4 players? Why is Arteta seemingly not under pressure? He should be under pressure. He just spent 250 million. And ultimately, they've messed about for a lot of seasons. So I will praise them, but spending a lot of money doesn't just necessarily mean you're a good owner. It means you're just pumping money into the club. It's about the structure. It's about the direction. So the manager's got to deliver now. The manager's got to deliver. There's no excuses. But big up Berta. Berta, if you're listening, listen, I know, by the way, I know that people from Arsenal tune in for the channel, right? I've been told this on tour, so this is factual. I'm telling you now, anybody from Arsenal tuned in, one more signing. I know you're going to think, wow, have you not had enough? I'm telling you. When Liverpool announced Guehi and Isak on Monday, this Hincapie deal, we're going to need one more. Yeah? See what Leao's saying. Do we grab Lookman at the last minute? I'm telling you, one more. One more, Andrea Berta, and we're comfortable. Also, then, we're going to need that Saliba new contract. Yeah, we're going to need that Saliba new contract because I don't feel too comfortable with him having less than 2 years on that deal. So we need that, and the Saka new deal as well. Yeah, but bring me a Leao, a Lookman, a Semenyo. Now the greed ain't crazy, bro. 21 years, no title. They're about to get Isak for about 130 million, bro. So nah, we're entitled to ask for one more. In reality, we've signed 2, what I would say, potential game-changing attackers this summer. Eze and Gyökeres. And Madueke is a squad player. I need the third one. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on, people. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised, when I saw this story. However, the deal isn't completely... Yo, Elliot, by the way, you've had so much optimism this summer. I love it. I absolutely love it. Every time we've been talking, he's like, no, don't worry. We're going to get it done. We're going to sign Gyökeres. We got Gyökeres. I was like, okay, fair enough. Yo, we're going to do this. I said, oh, all right, yo. We're hopeful. Lawrence says, Madueke looks mint now. Yo, bro, talk to me at full time at Anfield on Sunday. If he cooks Kirkes on Sunday, I'll start holding my hands up. I said it the other day. I think Madueke's going to be a better signing than I thought, but he's going to have to hold it down now for maybe a month, while Saka's out. He's going to have to step in and do the business. Let's hope he does the business on Sunday. Big up to everyone, man. 3,000 of you tuned in. The Twitch gang are still not in here, so it didn't work, but apologies. I think Madueke will cause Kirkes problems. I actually think 1v1, Madueke is a very good player. It's the end product that he needs to improve on. But it's a big game for him. It's a big game. It could really change the way a lot of Arsenal fans feel about him. And he looked better on the right as well than the left. Leao would come to Arsenal too. You can tell when Curtis asked him in Singapore. Bro, as I said, man, I said to him, come to Arsenal. Imagine you and Saka on the wing. If you watch that clip back, and I showed you, right? He covers his mouth and he says, "It's not up to me." The fact he covered his mouth and didn't want to be lip read when he was saying that, that tells you everything. It's not up to me. He would come to Arsenal all day long. But Milan have sold players. They don't need the money now. So that's the problem. They've just signed Nkunku. We needed to get him earlier in the summer when AC Milan apparently needed to sell players. But they've sold Reinders to City. They've sold Theo Hernandez. So I don't think... I was trying... Yo, I told you, I put in some work on that tour. Tried to get Leao to Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? I was... asked Saliba about the new contract. I applied a little bit of pressure, you know. Tried to help Berta out. Lawrence says, Lookman or Semenyo, please. I'd be happy with either one of them on deadline day. Yeah, right. This story that I was pleasantly surprised with, people, is Alexander Zinchenko being linked with a move to Marseille. Aubameyang and then man over there. Marseille are working on a deal to sign Alexander Zinchenko from Arsenal. Marseille are exploring a permanent move for the 28-year-old defender, but is complicated, here we go, by the Ukraine international's salary. Who would have thought it, people? The guy was on like 30 grand at Man City and we give him 150. Always going to be tough to sell, right? Significant issue plus solution needed for the deal to advance. Talks are ongoing. You need to get that deal done. First of all, there's a few options here. I think you've got to maybe reduce the transfer fee to allow them to offset the wages. So if you want 20 million, you say we'll take 15. If you want 15, you might have to sell him for 12. Arsenal need to clear the wage bill. What would be interesting is, where is he going to play for them? I've always said, and I stick by it, I think Zinchenko could go somewhere and be a good midfielder. I actually think he's a decent midfielder. I'm surprised that we've never given him 5-6 games in a row in midfield. However, if he's going there at left back, I'd approach with caution. And listen, I've seen them Marseille fans. Them man do not play around, bro. They are not going to feel sorry for you. Do you know what I mean? Them man do not ramp. You know what I mean? Them man will fight players. So I think it's time for Zinny to move on. We've got so many options at left back now. With Hincapie joins, you've got Calafiori, you've got Lewis Skelly. Effectively, Zinchenko's our fourth choice left back. And in midfield, he doesn't get a look in. You can't have a 150 grand a week player in that situation. It's time to move Zinny on. I think even if we get bumped a little bit on the price and it's 12, 14, 15 million, I think Arsenal have got to take it. Because his contract's running out and his wages are big and he has no significant role now. He's also doing interviews just telling us how terrible things are at Arsenal, which I'm just like, bro, get over it. You know what I mean? I understand in your personal life, there's a lot of difficulties in his home country. Totally understand that. But from a football point of view, you've lost your place in the team. It happens in football every single day. Players have to fight for their spot in the team. So I think Arsenal should try and get this deal done. I think they should try and get this deal done. Like I said, you may have to take a reduced fee to allow him to, you know, get big wages over there. So let's hope that deal goes through. I think it's time for him to leave. It'd be interesting to see him over there at Marseille and what position he ends up playing. Whether he plays left back or midfield, I would think he will surely end up in midfield, but who knows? So let's see what happens with that. Rabiot and Zinchenko swap. Yeah, apparently they're getting rid of Rabiot. I had a fight in training with a teammate, apparently. Love your Arsenal top. Where can I get one in the USA, says Shiwa. I haven't got a clue, to be honest. I mean, I got it from the Arsenal website before the tour. I'm assuming the website will... They deliver worldwide, so I'm sure you can get it off the Arsenal website. I was going to get the green one, which is the one that the players wear. But obviously, I record on a green screen. You wear a green T-shirt, you turn into the Invisible Man. So I end up buying the grey one, which all the staff wear. So I was moving around looking like a staff member when I was at like the pre-season tour and that. But I actually do like this one anyway. So yeah, I'm sure there's Adidas stores, isn't there, in America? Definitely you'll be able to get it. Rabiot's a hothead. He'll probably square up to Arteta. So I don't think he'd ever sign him, that's for sure. Let's see what happens with Zinchenko. Oh, always believe in your soul. Yeah, Simmons, good signing for Tottenham, man. I'm honest, I think he's a good player. He's a player that I would have taken at Arsenal. However, I'm delighted that we have got Eze. I'm more than comfortable with Eze. Thierry Henry was at the Emirates today. Wow. I think listen, this tweet says Thierry came to visit the Arsenal women's team today during training at the Emirates. Let me just show you the picture because it's Thierry, man. I don't care. There's so much heritage. You just need to see him. You just need to see him. I've said it before and I've said it again. I will say it again. It is criminal. I'm saying this louder for those at the back. It is criminal that Thierry Henry does not work at Arsenal Football Club in some sort of capacity. I don't care what capacity that is. Send him on tour as the ambassador of the football club. Bring him into the training ground once every 2 or 3 weeks to work with the strikers and do finishing practice. I don't care what capacity it is in. This guy should be working at Arsenal Football Club. I realise he works on television, right? And I'm not sure the club are totally... What I will say by that is Henry will criticise the club, the manager and the players publicly when he feels it's right. And you know how Arsenal operate at the moment. All of the ex-players that are willing to say something constructive about the club, you're not working for the club. You'll never... The Petits, the Tony Adams, the Mersons, the Omris, these guys are over there. Yeah, you can come and visit the training ground, but you ain't going to get a work role at the club. It's the Martin Keowns and the Ian Wrights. As much as we love them as ex-players, they toe the line in terms of how they're supposed to behave, in Arsenal's opinion. Thierry Henry should be working at the football club. Look, she can't believe it. That is probably how all of us would feel looking at Thierry. She's just like, even the hand on the face, it's like, it's the king, the Prince of Zamunda, Akeem. Look at him, Chicago Bulls hat. It's Thierry, man. He's the GOAT. I don't care. It's Thierry. He should be at the club. We should be going on tour and Henry's there. Honestly, Thierry Henry is just... He's the best player. He's the best player I've ever seen play for Arsenal. I don't understand why his aura is so much. It's mad our players just carry themselves a certain way. And you just think, what a player you are, man. What a top player. She's ready to risk it. Ah! No, I'm telling you. She's sitting there. She's standing there going, I know I'm married, but... No, she's ready to go crazy. She's like, Thierry, just say the word. Straight in the changing rooms. Let's get out of here. Let me stop. Let me stop, people. It's all mad. It's all mad. Oh dear. People are saying she's a lesbian. Oh, listen, apologies. We're already joking. Oh dear. That's mad. That's mad. I'm sure Thierry could change her mind anyway, you know what I mean? He'll send her move. Yeah, we're moving mad. When the community starts saying crazy things, I start going mad with it. Before I know it, the stream's at risk of being taken down. But it's information and entertainment anyway. See, look, now people are saying she's got a boyfriend, but it's Thierry, innit? I'm sure she'd. Anyway, let me not say too much. Millie said, kiss my teeth. I left London for America right when we became a serious club. I miss London now. Big up Big C and the community. Big up, man. Listen, you might have to make that trip back for a couple games, You might have to make the trip back. But we'll see. I will hopefully be in America next year for the World Cup. I'm just hoping that Jamaica qualify, man. I swear down. If Jamaica don't qualify for this World Cup, I'm not sure they'll ever qualify ever again. Because to have America, Canada, and Mexico as the hosts is just mad. Like, you know what I mean? To have that opportunity that those three are hosting and you don't have to qualify. If Jamaica don't qualify, lock it off. Go back to bobsleighing, man. Just do cool runnings. Yo, big up the broski. Shout out the broski. Turkish LDM. We need a OGs. When do we do our OGs? Really? I was thinking Monday. I got a whole heap of shows Monday. You got Big Six. I think it'd be better to do OGs post Liverpool because we'll have so much to talk about with the Liverpool game and the transfer window. I'm assuming you're going to have Big Six on Monday. Deadline day Monday. Tuesday, lock that in. If you're about, bro, Tuesday will be perfect. Tuesday will be perfect. Deadline day done. Liverpool game done. Loads to talk about. OG's Tuesday. There you go. It's in writing. It's in the chat. We can't avoid it. And by the way, Turkish, this one's been a requested one that we need to do. Maybe during international break. The people then want Arsenal jerseys review. Anyone who watches Turkish, the man's got about 50 jerseys behind him in the background. I've got about 5 or 6 upstairs. But people want to go through favourite Arsenal shirts and stuff like that. I thought that would be a good OGs we could do maybe during the international break. Oh, geez, here we go. Total agreement between the two content creators. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Here we go. Yeah, we're there, people. We're there. Member stream on Wednesday. We're doing it as well. Make sure you're locked in for that because I haven't done a member stream for a while. So, yeah, man, make sure you're involved in that, people. Shout out Turkish in the chat. Big up my bro. Big up Alex from Kentucky. C-Unit Business. Come on, you gunners. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go, people. Right, it's that time. It's Waffle settings. It is Waffle settings, people. Yeah, I'm sure Elliot's got a whole heap of Arsenal kits as well, people. It's Waffle settings. The Cone Man is back. Cone Man music. Mickey Rose, the boss. Rose. That smile is beaming. Look at that. That is the smile of damn. I just signed Eze. I'm about to sign. I've spent 260. Do you know what that smile is? That smile's not even I just signed Eze, right? Because Eze doesn't even strike me as an Arteta signing. That might even be Berta putting pressure on him. That smile is I'm getting 15 million a season. I've spent 265 million in this window. I'm £1 billion spent. And my job isn't under any pressure, no matter what you guys say. That's what that smile is. Look at that Colgate smile. He's so happy. The hair is immaculate. The teeth are shining. That is the smile of a person with no stress and no pressure. Billions spent, 265 this window. The Cronkies love him. The fans adore him. He's going, yeah, a couple guys online don't rate me, but I'm good. I ain't going nowhere. Top 4, I'll go again next year. Probably get a new deal. Fair play to him. The game's the game. I respect it. Millie said, I'll be back in October to see the family. We'll be at West Ham. Buzzing for it. Hope to be top of the league by then. Well, we're top of the league now. Can we stay there is the question. You know, we weren't top of the league for one day last season, so we're already doing better than last season. But we need to win it, people. People been asking me too, bro. We'll do it. Yeah, man, we'll do that, Turks, bro. Big up. Hope you're well, brother. Titles or bust? Well, maybe from our point of view, but I don't know if from the Arsenal point of view. Let's hear what he had to say. I'm going to do what I usually do for the pre-game press conference, Waffle settings. I'm going to apologise in advance because the pre-game one, I swear, the pre-game press conference is like being in detention at school. You know, like in The Simpsons at the beginning, where Bart Simpson's just writing the same thing on the board straight away. It's like that. He waffles. Pre-game one, like, honestly, I take no offense if you leave the stream at this point. You know, as long as you've clicked the like and subscribe, we're good. Because this gets painful. And if it's bad, I'll have to start skipping. Since forever, have they got new merch out? What is this merch? Who is this guy, bro? Since forever, shop now. Have they dropped new merch today? I haven't seen this merch. Has that just come out? That man don't play. That man said, listen, boys, yeah, Eze's just signed. These lot are on cloud 9 at the moment. Drop the merch. They can't help themselves. New merch. 4000 BC. Is that actually the name of the merch? Is that why the guy looks like Jesus Christ with the long hair? They've dropped new merch. How come? I'm shocked that I haven't got an email saying it. 4000 BC, you know. What's got them lot know what time it is. They said, listen, boys, we just signed Eze. They can't help themselves. If we lose to Liverpool on Sunday, they'll be fuming. Drop the merch. They're just making things up at this point. 4000 BC. What is the context behind that? You know what I mean? They're just making things up. Adidas are just playing around, man. Yamming waffles, sipping syrup. Time to check the Scouse and Steel. Are we out them house blaring? Coleman music. We're coming for 'em, people. I'm telling you, we're beating Liverpool Sunday. Put it in the atmosphere. Don said I got the email. We're beating Liverpool. We have to. I'm not taking a point. You offer me a point now, I'm rejecting it. All or nothing. I'm a gambling man. Not literally a gambling man, but in life, sometimes you got to roll the dice. We got to go and beat Liverpool. I'm sick of going up there and taking a draw and being happy. No, I want to beat them. Yeah, we go there and cook. On Saka's availability, I mean, what a question. We all know he's out for 3 to 4 weeks. You're asking him on Saka's availability. He's giving you no details other than what you already knew. Bukayo was doing better. He'll be out for a few weeks. I mean, honestly, on if the surgery is required on the hamstring, no surgery, it's not as bad. Well, we already knew that. It's 4 weeks, no surgery. I don't understand. You went to university to ask this. And if he'll be available after the international break. Said, I don't know. Let's see how he evolves in the next few days and weeks. Repeat the scan, see where he's at. Another waste of a question. On Odegaard's availability, we don't know yet. He hasn't trained, and if if he does, it will be tomorrow. He's doing everything he can. We're doing everything that we can to make him available. We'll have to wait and see. It's quite simple, bro. Don't force him back. When's the last time Odegaard cooked at Anfield and just drop Eze into that 10 role and let him cook? Yeah, I'm sick of hearing about evolving, bro. This ain't Pokemon Go. He ain't Charmander and Charizard. Do you know what I mean? He ain't trained all week. It's Saturday tomorrow. Leave him out. Bench him. Give us something else. Play Eze in the 10. Well, he won't. If he's 50% fit or more, he'll start him. And if it's serious, he says, no, there's an injury there. Hopefully, if everything goes well, he can cope with it. But we don't know yet. See, he wants him to cope with it. He's going to play probably with some pain there. But because it's Odegaard and he's the captain, he's going to be like, listen, just patch him up. Couple of ibuprofens, get him out there. We need him. Who else is going to shoot snot all over the pitch? Anyway, let's move on. How long it would take Havertz to recover from surgery? I think it will be weeks. I don't know how many months. They never like to reveal, do they? It's weird how this Havertz injury, no one's giving an actual time frame. I don't know how many months. Very unfortunate, very sad for him. He did tremendously well to recover from the previous one. He'd never had an injury before. Suddenly this happens. Anything to do with you overplaying him laying on the floor at Wolves away through exhaustion? And not being rotated, not signing a striker in January. But this is our profession, our football. We need to live with that. We lost another player for many, many weeks. But the surgery was the right thing to do. The doctor advised, I think he was very convinced at the end, it was the quickest and best way to resolve it. Let me get through this quick, man. It's just... And if it could be months, every time there is a surgery, expect something like this. I'll leave that to the medical team and staff to explain in detail what it was. The most important thing is when he gets back, he's in good condition. Medium and long term, we protect the player. On losing 3 big players to injury, he said it's the start of the season. We lost 3 of our main players. I mean, I don't know if I'd consider Havertz a main player, but that's the reality. A very unfortunate situation, 3 different situations. That's why we keep insisting, like everyone else, you need a big squad to be able to cope and sustain the level. If we're looking at a silver lining, is it will allow Gyökeres more time on the pitch to settle in, because I'm convinced if Havertz was fit, he'd have been taking Gyökeres off in a lot of games. Congolese Football said, Curtis, is Arteta still the Teflon Don? He is, bro, I'm telling you. Billy Keston, big up with a super sticker, bro. Appreciate that. Dog Toffee said, brother, be honest, part of your footballing brain is worried. Is your confidence in the Liverpool game false? You barely beat a dusty United and finished cannon fodder 5-0. I know you have good football IQ, that's why I call it, bro. Listen, ultimately, if you haven't won in a stadium for over a decade, you can't be that confident of beating them, can you? But I'm hyped. We've made good signings. Liverpool look shaky defensively. The mindset has to be that we go there and beat them. You don't often go to Anfield and see many weaknesses. I think in the first 2 games you've seen a defensive weakness. So that's where my confidence is coming from, I would say. But still a really tough game. HR, what's your 11 v Liverpool? Raya, Timber, Calafiori, Gabriel Saliba, Zubamendi, Rice. I suppose you go Eze, Odegaard, Madueke, Gyökeres. Or do you put Eze in the 10, but then I'm not comfortable with who you're going to play on the left because Martinelli's been awful. Trossard, I mean, I suppose Martinelli does have a good record against Liverpool, so I don't know whether you... I suppose for Eze, I'd like to play him in the 10 because I can see Eze having to do loads of running if he plays on the left because they've got Salah on that side. And you're going to have to double up and help Calafiori. In an ideal world, yeah, I'd love to see Waneri get a run out in the 10. I thought he did well, but he isn't going to play him there. Odegaard hasn't trained all week, so he's going to be lucky to get 1 training session. Isak has twice the number of games of Gyökeres for Sweden, but only 1 more goal. Why are Arsenal fans crying over him going to Liverpool? Bro, I'll be totally honest with you. I've watched Sweden play before. A lot of the time, Isak's drifting to the left. He's accommodating Gyökeres through the middle because Isak can play wide. So I don't think that's how we should judge them, you know. I think we've got to judge that, let's be real, outside of Haaland, Isak's been the best striker in the Premier League in the last year or 2. An all-round game, he's probably actually performed better than Haaland in terms of the kind of goals that he scores and stuff. He's a more exciting player than Haaland, so we got to be real, bro. And no one's crying over him. I just think he was a striker that a lot of Arsenal fans would have liked to have signed. But big up for the super chat. Let me get through this waffle. On White and Norgard, that's another 2 we don't know yet. Again, tomorrow we have another day. Let's see how they evolve. There's a chance to keep them involved. That doesn't sound good, man. Ben White, he looked sharp in pre-season, injured again. On Eze's first week with us, he said, really impressed with him. I heard a lot of things about him. I spoke to a lot of people about him. Really bright, very special energy, a special aura around him, and he's really willing. He's already gathered a lot of information on the things we want to see on the pitch, but especially making sure he has the freedom and the capacity to express his quality, which is the reason we brought him here. Mikel, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to hold you to that last sentence. Because that is what Eze is about. He is about freedom on the football pitch. Look at the goals that he scores. It's dribbling, it's freedom. So you do not bring him here and make him some, you know, system-based player that looks like he has no freedom. He has to play with freedom. And if he'll go straight into the team, we have options in that position. That's a good thing that we have this year. Let's see. As I said, another day. I'm not going to give you any clues, obviously. You've got to play him. You've got to start him. On how he adds to our ability to be unpredictable, he said, sure, we have a lot of players now that can play in different positions. They can fulfill gaps. Looking at the start of the season, we already had injuries. That's going to be very necessary. I'm happy to have the ability to do that. You notice there, he doesn't really mention Eze in the whole answer. He's such a politician, isn't he? On rumours surrounding Hincapie, you know the answer. I cannot talk about players, not part of the squad. If he would prefer to play Liverpool later in the season, he said it is what it is. We have to play them. They are the champions for a reason because they deserve to be. They were the better team last year, most consistent. They found the one that found ways winning in different ways. We want to be that team this year. We need to go to Anfield with spirit and conviction. What Eze will add to the squad, he said, I think when you are next to him, you're comfortable. He's got a big smile. He picks teams apart. He asks you the right question and then just let him flow with the ball and the ability he has to pick a pass, drive past people effortlessly and to understand the timings. It's very impressive. Getting tired already reading this. if it's a season-defining game against Liverpool, he said it's very important. We want to continue building the momentum, go into those grounds and those stadiums. Let's skip it. And what needs to change for us to win at Anfield? Be better than what we've been in the previous games, be more efficient. It's obvious. If he's noticed differences in our Liverpool play this season, I think individual characteristics at the end are what changed how they use the ball. They've had a lot of signings, really good signings. And if we targeted like players like Gyökeres and Eze, who could be good for transition, we have to add players who add value to things that can define football matches. Those two, they have the ability at the end to make the final action in many ways. If there's more things we can do to prevent injuries, he says, no. First of all, we have to analyse what we do first. Oh, it's painful. And if he worries about keeping everyone happy with the squad depth, he said, no, I think the word is that I care about everybody is as happy as they possibly can be. And if Martinelli could leave, he says no, but I think Gabby has been a super important player for us. He's going to remain to be very, very, very important. Sell him. Just sell him. Our Liverpool favourites, he said, I think the favourite is always someone that has won it the previous year. Is Saka's hamstring injury a concern? He said, yeah, obviously a big one, especially when we talk about a sprinter, a player that gets into that zone very often in football. They need that burst, that change of rhythm as pace to be as threatening as possible. We'll learn again why it happened and make him stronger. Who is in the leadership group since Jorginho left? He said there are a few, doesn't name them. Is Eze a throwback to players like Cazorla and Rosicky? He said, yep, they have a different feel of the ball. Everybody glides. Everything glides and moves so smoothly. And there you go. It's over. I told you I had to apologise in advance. I've almost got a headache reading that. Absolute agony. The pre-game ones are horrific. After the game, they're quite quick. You get it over with. That is painful to read. Wow. Feel like I just watched a politician. I'm going to have to end the stream there. I am actually ending the stream in all seriousness. People, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll get a preview out to the Liverpool game tomorrow. We'll go into a bit more detail. And then on Sunday, it will be the watch-along. Honestly, that was a painful, painful watch-along. And you can't watch-along, press conference reaction. But the thing about it, he says so much, but you learn so little. He doesn't tell you anything. Painful. Anyway, people, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe on the way out. And I will be back tomorrow, pre-recorded content probably, and then the watch along on Sunday. Liverpool against Arsenal, biggest game of the week. Make sure you tune in for that. And enjoy your Friday, people.